Hello everyone! Welcome back to Round Door Storytime. I'm Kat.
And I'm Lancy. I'm especially excited today because we're starting a very romantic story.
A romantic story? Is it because next week is Qixi?
Yes, that's right. Next week is Qixi, the Chinese Valentine's Day. To get ready for it, we've prepared a story in 2 parts, The Legend of the Cowherd and the Weaver Girl.
2 parts? So today is part 1 and next week is part 2?
Exactly. In today's episode, we'll hear how the Cowherd and the Weaver Girl first met. Then next week on Qixi itself, we'll tell the rest of the story right until the end.
Before we start, if you want to read along, check out our website, rounddoorstudio.com, for the companion story pack.
You'll also find discussion questions, curated vocab, and cultural activities there.
Wonderful. I can't wait. Let's begin today's story.
There once was a boy named牛郎, the cowherd, and his life was a hard one. His mother and father had passed when he was little, leaving him all alone, so he had no choice but to live with his older brother and sister-in-law. But his brother and sister-in-law treated him poorly. Every day, before the sky had even grown light, they would drag him out of bed to work. He toiled from dawn till dusk, yet all they gave him was a few scraps of leftover food. Niulang's stomach would growl and rumble with hunger, but he never dared to make a sound. When Niulang was in his teens, his brother and sister-in-law decided to get rid of him. They led out an old ox and pushed out a rickety old cart and said to him cruelly,
"There's no room for you in this house anymore. Get out and fend for yourself."
And just like that, they drove him out the door. Thankfully, he still had the old ox to keep him company. Niulang found an empty patch of land at the foot of the mountain, and stroke by stroke of his hoe, he cleared away the weeds and planted rice. At night, he built himself a little thatched hut against the hillside, which at least kept out the wind and rain. Niulang treated the ox just like his own family. He fed it, brushed its coat, and told it everything on his mind. The days passed one by one, and after 2 years, the little thatched hut had become a tiled house, and the granary was piled high with sack after sack of rice. Life was getting better and better, yet Niulang's heart still felt empty. Every day, once the work was done, he was alone in the house, without even a single soul to talk to. It was terribly lonely. Several more lonely years went by. Then, when no one could have ever guessed it, one evening, the old ox, which had never spoken a single word, suddenly opened its mouth and began to speak. It said,
"Niulang, I'll be honest with you. I was once the golden ox star up in heaven. But because I broke a heavenly rule, I was punished and sent down to the mortal world."
Niulang jumped with a start, both amazed and overjoyed. For a long while, he couldn't get a word out and could only ask,
"Brother Ox, is what you're saying really true?"
The old ox nodded its head. The ox went on,
"Early tomorrow morning, several fairies will fly down from heaven to play in the water and dance beside the Jade Lotus Pond. When the wind blows, one fairy's red silk scarf will be carried right in front of you. Pick it up and return it to her, and you will naturally have a chance to speak with her."
The next day, before the sky had grown light, Niulang made his way to the Jade Lotus Pond, hid himself among the reeds at the water's edge, and waited quietly. Before long, a few clouds drifted in from the horizon, and several fairies came floating down gently to the side of the pond. By the water, some of them sang, and some of them danced, and their laughter carried far, far away. Just then, sure enough, a gust of wind came sweeping through. The fairy draped in the red silk scarf had only just stepped closer when a sudden gust tugged the scarf loose. It floated and drifted through the air and came to rest right at Niulang's feet. Niulang picked up the red scarf and stepped out from behind the reeds, his face a little flushed, and said softly,
Miss, this scarf is yours, isn't it? The wind just blew it over here.
The fairy turned around and saw Niulong standing there. Seeing him cradling her scarf in his hands with such an earnest face, she wasn't the least bit afraid. As it so happened, she was none other than the Weaver Girl of Heaven, the granddaughter of the Queen Mother of Heaven. Her hands were the most skillful of all, and every day she and her sisters used silk thread to weave the colorful clouds that filled the sky. Niulong returned the scarf to the Weaver Girl, and the two of them began to chat by the pond. A word from her, a word from him, and the more they talked, the better they got along. Seeing how earnestly Niulong worked, and how genuine he was with people, the Weaver Girl slowly broke out into a smile. That one conversation sealed a bond that would last a lifetime. The Weaver Girl chose to stay in the mortal world and marry Niulong. He worked the fields growing rice while she wove cloth at home, and the two of them loved each other so dearly that their days together were as sweet as honey. Before long, they had a son and a daughter. The boy loved to trail after Niulong and learn how to farm, and the girl loved to stay close to the Weaver Girl and watch her weave. The family of four laughed and chatted together every day, as happy as could be. But such happy days could not be kept hidden from the Queen Mother of Heaven. The very moment she discovered that the Weaver Girl had slipped down to the mortal world and married an ordinary man, she flew into a thundering rage. In the heat of her fury, the Queen Mother at once called upon her heavenly soldiers and generals, and they came sweeping down to the mortal world to seize the Weaver Girl. That day, the Weaver Girl was sitting in the courtyard weaving, with her two children playing without a care nearby. All of a sudden, the clear blue sky turned utterly dark. A fierce wind sprang out from nowhere, and the leaves all around rattled and roared. The Weaver Girl snapped her head up, and in an instant, the color drained from her face. Wow, the story stops at the most nerve-wracking moment. What will happen to the Weaver Girl next?
I'm so worried. And what about Niulong and the two children?
Don't worry, the answers are all in part 2. Next week is Qixi, and we'll finish the story. We'll learn how the Milky Way was formed in the sky and the bridge the magpies built came to be.
So we'll see you next week on Qixi. Don't forget to come back for part 2. And if you'd like to keep the fun going, be sure to visit our website at rounddoorstudio.com and check out our companion story pack. It's full of even more fun things waiting just for you.
See you next time.
Bye-bye.